Whew. All right. Hello, YouTubers. Another video about backpacking. And today we're going to talk about injuries, things that can go wrong on a hike, and how you maybe can prevent some of those injuries so you can enjoy yourselves. As you can see, I'm getting pretty old and it's hard to get out here, so I have to take care of myself a little bit more. So I'm going to go over some of the common things you'll get, especially on longer hikes. But obviously the best thing to do is to get in shape before you hike. But a lot of people just hit the gym and think they're good to go, but you have to work the right muscles. So one of the more common injuries, it's not really an injury, it's just a pain you're going to get when you hike, is a thing that I call the hip flexors. I'm not even positive they're your hip flexors. There are these muscles right in here, and basically they're not used to carrying a pack. They're not used to carrying such a big load. So they can get sore from weight bearing, and if you haven't experienced them, when you put 40 pounds on your back, your body's not used to that, and it hurts a lot. It's not going to end your backpack trip, but it's going to make it very unpleasant. So what you got to do to prevent those is to go to the gym, hike the local hill, stairways, but you got to put a backpack in. I throw bags in rocks or bags of sand in a backpack, walk up and down a hill. Stretching also, you just got to stretch. One of the things that works really well is laying on your back and doing the leg over things. Hamstrings, really important to stretch your hamstrings, but you got to do some weight bearing stuff. Now, I've got really bad knees. I'm falling apart basically, but I'm still out here and I still want to do this as long as possible. So you just have to learn how to deal with some of these injuries and how to prevent them. So since I have the bad knees, you could just get over-the-counter knee braces. They just slip on. I use them for both knees usually when I'm hiking. They compress your knee together a little bit, keep it warm, and they just help a lot. But I also have swelling problems, so I take anti-inflammatories. My anti-inflammatory of choice is naproxen, and I take one of those in the morning, one of those at night. In fact, I'm due for one right now. Those work good. And hiking poles. Anybody with bad knees or doing distance hiking should have hiking poles. They're great for going uphill, but if you have bad knees, they're especially good for going downhill. They take an amazing amount of pressure off your knees. Even people who have good knees are amazed by how much pressure they take off your knees. Right. So that's about it for the knees. So before I forget, the other thing I want to mention, this goes for all parts of your body. I'm here with my brother-in-law, who's a few years younger than I am, and hydration. It impacts everything on your body and your enjoyment, from altitude sickness to getting dehydrated and having some cramping. My brother-in-law had a lot of cramping on this trip, so I happened to bring some goo. It's an energy drink that has electrolytes. There's lots of sports drinks. I think that really got him through and got him up the mountain. So you just have to force yourself to drink a lot of water. So cramping, altitude sickness. I suffered something on the John Muir Trail last year that was hydration related. Doing 15-mile days. One day I got into camp and I went to relieve myself and it came out bright red, which really is an emergency situation. I didn't want to bail on my John Muir Trail trip about 150 miles in, so I was afraid it might be hydration related. Drank lots and lots of fluids and rested and kind of took it easy. I peed blood a couple more times, but by the morning I was clear again. So that's nothing to take lightly. If you go a second day and you're still peeing red, you need to bail and go get medical treatment, because it could be a kidney problem and you can actually die from a kidney infection. So the reason, I did some research, the reason it happened to me, it's common from marathon runners and just distance hikers. If your bladder is empty a lot from not drinking and not relieving yourself, the linings can rub together. and it causes you to bleed. Marathoners apparently have that issue a lot where they, after a race, so it could be that, but just avoid those things by staying extremely hydrated. Another issue that I've recently been having the last 5 years is a condition called meralgia paresthetica. Meralgia paresthetica. It is a strange pain in your thighs. It's a burning pain that feels like your thigh muscles are going to explode. It's very painful. You can hike through it, but it's very miserable. And what that is caused by, right where you put your pack is right on your hip bone. There's a nerve that goes under there. And if you're like me, I hate having weight on my shoulders. So I put it all on my hips, and you compress those nerves. And this never happens to me until about 5 days into a hike. This is mostly a long distance hiker problem. And it seems to be more on downhills too. And you can loosen your straps on and put more on your shoulders, but that's going to be painful on a long trip. There's really not a lot you can do except lighten your load. You got to figure out ways to cut weight. It's from carrying too much weight and putting too much pressure. You can try different packs. I use a Osprey. I've used a Mountain Smith. I like them both, but I like a pack that fits right tight to my hips, and I just deal with it. The last bout I got, I was numb on my right thigh for almost a year. So I get it kind of constantly now. And I saw several people on the JMT that did have that condition. There was a young kid that came into our camp one night and he was in much better shape than us, but he wanted to hike with us because he was afraid something was wrong with him. So I had some naproxen and told him to take it easy, and he was fine. But I see a lot of young people with that condition also. So that's one to watch out for. And let's see, what other problems do I have? I think that's about it. So anyway, work out before, lighten your load, train like what you're actually going to do on your hike. Don't just go into the gym and do your elliptical. Do a stair climber with a backpack on. Climb that hill with weight on your shoulders. It'll make your trip that much more enjoyable. But you got to get to know your body. If you haven't done a long distance hike before, you're going to experience lots and lots of pain. So you have to understand what those pains are and whether it's something you can continue on in your trip. One thing a lot of newbies don't realize is how hard it is to breathe. And that's from not being in shape, overexerting, not being hydrated. And so there's things you can do to make the pain less on your body, especially those first couple days out. Pressure breathing helps with the not feeling like you're getting enough oxygen. You need to get the carbon dioxide out of your system. Pressure breathing is a simple technique where you take deep breaths through your nose and you exhale hard through your mouth, so like your cheeks puff up. So you go. It sounds stupid, looks stupid, but it works. So other things you can do on the trail to lessen if you're feeling burning in your legs on your first couple days out, your pace is too fast. You just got to slow down. If you're going up steep switchbacks, take shorter, smaller steps. Slow down. Taking breaks, like 15-minute, 20-minute breaks on the middle of a long climb, that's the worst thing you can do. You got to keep your muscles warmed up. Your muscles cool down, then it's really hard to get warmed up again. Take quick power breaks for a couple minutes. Maybe drop the pack for a couple minutes. I usually try to find a rock to lean up against, and just go slower. Be really careful where you step. A lot of times there's steps going up switchbacks and stuff like that. Don't go straight up the big steps and take big steps. A lot of the trail builders will always have a little rock below a big step. Find that little spot. Find a little ramp to go up. Go really easy on your legs because you're going to get tired. And this is a new one. This sounds weird. It sounds like it wouldn't work, but I found out it did. Since I have bad joints and like I have no cartilage in one of my knees, and I wear the knee braces the whole time, I step very gingerly on my whole hike. And you're tensed up when you're doing that. You're trying to step right and your muscles are tense constantly. When you're hiking 8 to 12 hours a day, that's going to make your muscles sore. So there's parts of the trail where the trail's not so rough. When you're going downhill, I'm always like really tensing up, being very careful with my steps, because I can injure myself if I take a bad step. But in the chances where the trail's pretty good, it's kind of a weird to explain this. You just gotta relax your body, relax your legs, stop tensing up, and just kind of let it slide, let it go easy. It's hard to do if you're old like me, but you just kind of go in cruise control and try not to tense up your body and just relax. It makes a big difference at the end of the day when you're sore. Now, if you haven't done long distance hiking before, the first couple days you're going to be in a lot of pain and you think, I can't do this. Give yourself a chance. Maybe start off a little slower. Don't put in such big mile days. But there are days when your body is telling you, you're not going to be able to do this. And you think you can't do it, but you can. During a day, your body goes through cycles where you think you can't take another step, everything's hurting. And then after a few hours of pushing through that, your body kind of kicks into second gear and you can go. You have like spurts of like energy. It's hard to explain, but of course you have to feed your body. So do your research on foods, things that give you long-term energy like nuts and proteins, and quicker energies like some of the energy drinks and candies and stuff like that. So you have to supply the fuel to your body. And you'd be surprised what you can do. Sometimes by the end of the day, you are hurting. I had a day last year on my 220-mile hike where my Achilles tendon locked up. I could not bend my foot. It was miserable. And you think, this could be an injury that's going to end my trip. But if you take care of your body, get into camp, if there's a creek, go down and rub your legs and get wet and relax and get into bed and take care of yourself and hydrate. You'll be amazed your body can repair itself overnight and you're good to go the next day. Some of the days I thought I would not be able to continue, and the human body is freaking amazing, because this old guy is still able to do this stuff. And my funny story, I just went to the doctor to have my knees checked out, and the doctor told me that I must have a high tolerance to pain. That's why I'm like backpacking so much, because backpacking is a high tolerance of pain. And he said he sees guys that have better knees than me in wheelchairs. But I'm not going to let that stop me. But I educate myself on things that impact me when I'm out here. Look at this. This is worth it to get out here. In fact, I just got done eating a bunch of trout that we caught in the lake here. There are other weird conditions. Everybody's different. If you have something that's wrong with you, ask people about it. Go to your doctor. Like, here's a strange condition I never knew existed until I experienced it. Me and my daughter had spent a week over 10,000 feet and like several days over 11.5. And on our hike out, we had to pee constantly, like every 5 minutes. And there's a condition where your body shuts down all its other functions it says, screw the processing of this water stuff and peeing. I'm just going to send it straight through. I'm trying to get oxygen into your body, and your body does strange things to try and cope with what's going on up there. So it's just practice, ask questions. Don't assume you can hike through all injuries, though. Don't take my advice in the wrong way. If you have something that's bothering you, get it checked out. Pay attention to your body. And there are people, I'm sure, if they had the pains I have when I hike, would say, I can't do this, I'm damaging myself. You're not. You're just pushing things that your body isn't being pushed on. That's where these sciatic nerve things, you're working a lot of muscles that never get worked. So they're gonna hurt for the first couple of days on a long hike. So plan 0 days, things like that, to figure out what's going on those things. So if anybody has any questions, just leave a comment and I'll see if I can answer it. And happy hiking. Thanks.